Alright, today we're going to look at average rate of change. And remember, average rate of change is the same thing as slope. But today we're only going to concentrate on when we're looking at a graph. Okay, remember average rate of change is the change of your y's over the change of your x's. Okay, a lot of times in slope formula we look at it written this way. Right, your your y's subtracted with each other and your x's subtracted with each other. But when we're doing rate of change, that's in function notation. So it's a little bit different formula, but it means the same thing. F of b minus f of a over b minus a. And if you look, we're still taking our y terms and subtracting them, and then we're taking our x terms and subtracting them. Okay. So let's look at what is being asked here. The function y equals f of x is graphed below. What is the average rate of change of the function f of x on the interval -2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 1? Write your answer in simplest form. Okay, so we got a couple of things here. Simplest form, so we must simplify. This is giving us where we want to look at on the graph. So we want to go to x is -2. I'm going to zoom in so y'all can see what I'm doing. Here's your 0, 0, 0. So remember, this is your x-axis. We want to go over to -2 and then go up and find your graph and plot a point. Okay, so that's the point we're going to be looking at, which is -2, 5. Okay, the other one we want to look at is at 1, when your x is 1. So again, here's 0, 0. And go over to 1, and then I go down, plot a point where my graph is. So then the second one is 1, 4, -4, sorry. Alright, so that's how you get your 2 points that you're looking for. Now I'm going to go ahead and label what everything means. Typically, we say xy, xy. But remember, in function notation, we don't use y values. We say f of x. So, and if you look at our formula, though, we want a's and b's. So what I'm going to say is, this is a, and if that's a, this is my f of a. So if I go to the other point, then that we're going to change to b's. So this is b, and this is f of b. So a equals -2, b equals 1. F of a is equal to 5, f of b is equal to -4. So it might even help writing it out that direction on your first couple, just so you know exactly what to substitute in. Alright, so let's look at this. Again, this is my formula. So I like to write the formula out. And then I'm going to write right above my formula what I'm going to sub in. So f of b. What does f of b equal? -4. Subtract f of a. F of a is 5. Okay, let's go down to the denominator. b. b is 1 minus a. a is -2. Alright, from here, I got to simplify my numerator first. So, -4 minus 5 is -9. Alright, and then the denominator, I have 1 minus -2. Remember, 2 negatives side by side make it positive. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, make sure we simplify. Well, negative and a positive, we'll get a negative. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my rate of change is -3. Alright, let's work a couple more of these. I think I have 3 on here. And I also chose all different kind of graphs. I have a quadratic graph, a linear graph, and then I have a cubic. All right, but I wanted to do all different three because they're all worked the same way. So I didn't want you to run into a different type of graph and get confused just because you haven't seen that type of example before. All right, so number 2. The function y equals f of x is graphed below. What is the average rate of change of the function f of x on the interval 2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 7? Write your answer in simplest form. So these are the x values I'm going to concentrate on. So I'm going to come over here and zoom in to make sure I get the right points. So 0, 0, and I want where x is 2. Remember, this is your x values. Where x is 2, well, my graph crosses right there. So I'm going to go ahead and write that one down. 2, 0. The second one I want is 7. So I'm back at 0, 0. Go over to 7, find where my graph is, and put a point. So I went over 7, and then I went up to 5. So there's my 2 points. Oops, and I want to write that. Actually, I want to write that over here. So we can label. Okay, so remember, this is A, this is f of A, this is B, this is f of B. And if you want to write it like, okay, this is my A point, this is my B point, and then fill in from there so you don't get confused, go for it. Any little notes that you can write down as you're doing these will help. Okay. So A is equal to 2, f of A is equal to 0, B is equal to 7, f of B is equal to 5. And I'm just finding that like this. Okay, A is 2, f of A is 0. And then B is 7, f of B is 5. Okay, then I go over here and I write my formula again. F of B minus f of A over B minus A. Again, remember, line up your B's, line up your A's. They have to be on the same side of your equation or expression. Okay, now let's do some substituting in. My f of B is 5 minus f of A is 0. Then I go to the denominator. My B is 7 minus my A, which is 2. Okay, 5 minus 0, 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. All right, 5 divided by 5, hopefully we all know immediately that's 1. And you have the same thing over itself. Always simplifies to be 1. Okay. All right, and let me address this really quick. Again, this is another way that this problem could be asked. These are just 2 different notations of the exact same thing. Remember, function notation is f of x. And so this is x is equal to negative 2 and x equals 1, which is the same thing that's talking right here. I just wanted to put down the 2 different ways. So this is x of 2 and x equals 7. So depending on how they ask the question, you're not getting confused as well. All right. Again, I haven't said it, but if you want to pause the video, try some of these on your own. Try this one on your own, and then come back and make sure you're understanding it. That way you can see if you made a mistake, hopefully where you made your mistake at. All right, so the function y equals f of x is graphed below. What is the average rate of change of the function f of x on the interval negative 1 is less than or equal to 2, negative 1, which is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 2. So we're one in the section between negative 1 and 2. So write it in simplest form. Again, asking the same thing. So I'm going to zoom in. I want negative 1. So remember that here's my x-axis. Negative 1 is 1 unit to the left. And then go plot a point on your graph. So it looks like it crosses at 4. So negative 1, 4. Okay, the other one I want is 2. So again, go back to your x-axis. Here's 2, and it's actually crossing right at 2, so we don't have to go anywhere. And if we don't go up or down, that means we're at 0. So 2, 0. So what we're doing is we're finding the average rate of change. Okay, we're finding the slope of this section of the graph right here, and only that section of the graph. Okay, just so you understand what we're actually finding. All right, so let's look at this one now. Again, this is my A point, this is my B point. So A, f of A, B, f of B. A equals -1. F of A equals 4. You don't have to do this part, but if you're struggling at all, I think this helps to keep everything straight. All right, let's go back over here. Let's write our formula down. F of B minus f of A over B minus A. Let's substitute in. F of B is equal to 0 minus f of A is equal to 4. Okay, so that's substituted in the numerator. Now let's go to the denominator. B is equal to 2 minus A, which is a negative, so we're going to put it inside parentheses, which is 1. Okay, let's simplify our numerator. 0 minus 4, -4, over, remember 2 negatives make a positive. 2 plus 1 is 3. Don't forget the last step, simplest form. All right, 4 we could divide by 2 or 4. So when you look at the bottom, 3 can only be divided by 3, so no common factors. This is my final answer. All right, I hope that helped you all with your finding the average rate of change from a graph. If you have any questions, let me know.